Well, former Manhattan prosecutor Jeremy Saland joining us now. Welcome, Jeremy. Thank you so much for coming on this holiday week just before Christmas. Let's talk about Mangione's attorney, Karen Agnifilo. She hit 2 points hard in court yesterday. One, she railed against the feds piling on with a parallel case alongside the state case, and she talked about the spectacle the police and including the mayor of New York made of her client during transfer to New York, saying that the pre-trial publicity is prejudicial. It's hard for her to get a jury in her mind. So what do you make of those two arguments that she is putting out there at the very beginning in this case?
Well, I'm going to start off by continuing something from your last segment, which is zip it. And it actually works here. And I don't say that in I mean, it's a humor situation for a very tragic, very real, horror. But what she's saying basically is Mayor Adams, you're not standing up and doing this elsewhere. You're not doing this in domestic violence homicides. You're not doing this, at least not yet, about this tragedy we just saw in a subway in Manhattan where someone was burned alive in an alleged murder there too. The federal government, when you have a clemency to 37 out of 40 people on death row by the current president, Joe Biden, and the Southern District is potentially seeking the death penalty on this case, there's a lot of disarray here. It doesn't make sense. And what she's ultimately saying is this is throwing this all out of whack. This is not legal. It's not lawful. That being said, neither of those arguments are going to hold much water. The U.S. attorney can have a different theory, and they could have a mayor who can say a lot of things, but it's not going to really hold water. But her point is a very important one, which is what's going on here. Let's stick to the four corners of this case. This is a murder two case, and somehow, because we have a United Healthcare CEO, it's exploded into more. I will say one thing, and I give Karen credit. I've known Karen for many, many years as a prosecutor. This is not to take away from that argument, but I'm wondering if those same arguments were made during her tenure for countless other cases where we hear sort of publicity and press releases and a lot of action outside the courtroom.
Yeah, there was in this case, though, so much, especially as social media exploded, although people were there, and we'll talk about it, to praise him in many ways. Let me talk about what we saw in court, because this is the first time we've seen him. Yeah, it's the first time we've seen him in court because, of course, you can't have cameras in federal court. And it was hard to miss that. I don't know if it was by accident or a coincidence or something else or a plan, but Agnifilo had matching outfits. And you noticed that, she was talking to him, sort of touching him on the shoulder. What do you make of some of these gestures? And is it something that, a good defense attorney will do to humanize their client, saying, look, this isn't just a dangerous killer that police are saying, did this, but he's a regular guy.
Yeah, I don't think the matching outfits was planned. Luigi or any other inmate is only limited to a certain degree in terms of what he has access to and can wear from the outside coming in. That being said, Karen is doing a terrific job. Karen Agnifilo is doing a terrific job doing what Mr. Dickey didn't do while the case was pending in Pennsylvania. To your point, great words, Sarah. She's humanizing him and making it realize that he's not the animal that some believe he is. And ultimately, she's going to go down that road of that mental defect, of that insanity defense. But one of the things she has to do, at least for now, is sort of rein things in and control what is being said. Because if that message is wrong, we can't forget this is Brian Thompson. This is a tragedy, but let's not lionize him. She doesn't want to lionize him. She really wants to deal with Joel Seidman, the prosecutor, and Judge Carroll right now in the state court, in that courtroom, the same way she'll do that in the federal court, regardless of the theory of being stalking or this being some sort of terror act, which again, I think is inappropriate and won't stand at the end of the day. But, she's doing what she can with the tools that she has to make him look like a real person, that's someone that should be concerned and cared for, and make sure he gets that fair shake in the courtroom.
Jeremy Saland, thank you so much for your analysis. That this is a case that's been watched by so many people, and there's so much interest. There were even women in the court yesterday just there to see Mangione. We will see how all of this plays out, both cases as they go along parallel lines. Appreciate you. A new hour.